Hello, and welcome back to the Academy. In this episode, we're going to talk about jargon. Everyone uses it, especially gamers. But today we're going to cover jargon specific to everyday heroes. I'm going to start with dice. Everyday Heroes uses a polyhedral dice set, which is just a fancy name for a set of dice with multiple amounts of sides, similar to the set in this picture. These dice are generally referred to by the amount of sides they have. Starting at the top and working our way clockwise, we have the D4, D6, D8, D10, Decatur or percentile die, D12, and the D20. Now that we've covered dice, let's move on to some general role-playing terminology. So the first term we're going to cover is 5e. The current edition of Dungeons & Dragons is the 5th edition, which tends to be abbreviated as 5e. Everyday Heroes is published under the 5th edition System Reference Document. Adventure. Any story you play through is an adventure. Everyday Heroes adventures based on movies are called cinematic adventures. Campaigns are a connected series of adventures featuring the same group of heroes. The Game Master, or GM, is the storyteller who guides you through your adventure, creating the world around you and the characters you interact with. A hero, simply put, is your character. Now, this in no way means that your character has to be good, merely that they are the central character of the story. Players are the people who create and run the characters, and a team refers to the group of heroes playing through a specific adventure. So now we're going to move into rules jargon. The first one is going to be an ability check. An ability check is a d20 roll based on one of your ability scores. Your ability scores are your primary attributes. They are your strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Next is an action. An action is something you can do once on your turn, whether it's attacking an opponent or helping an ally. Advantage. When you have advantage, you roll 2d20 and use the better result. Archetype is the essential type of hero you are, whether it's a strong hero, agile, tough, wise, smart, or charming. An attack is the way you deal damage to your opponent. An attack roll is the roll to determine if you hit your opponent. A bonus action is something extra you can do once on your turn, usually granted by your class. Background, the element that makes you who you are. Class is a specific way you express your archetype, whether you're a scientist, a commando, or an MMA fighter. Conditions are adverse states that affect your character during the game, such as being blinded, distracted, or stunned. Damage is the amount of hurt you deal to your opponent. A damage roll is the roll to determine how much damage you deal to your opponent when you successfully hit them. DC, or difficulty class, is the target number you need to reach in order to succeed at a particular goal. Your defense is how hard it is for you to be hit in combat. Your defense bonus is the value added to your defense as determined by your class and level. Disadvantage. When you have disadvantage, you roll 2d20 and take the worst result. Equipment is the stuff you use. Proficiency with a type of equipment gives you a bonus to using that equipment. Expertise. When you have expertise, you double your proficiency bonus for the skill you're proficient in. A feat is a special way to customize a hero. Initiative. An initiative roll determines your order in combat. Hit dice are based on your archetype. This determines the type of die you roll for your hit points. Now, your hit points are a measure of how tough you are. The more hit points you have, the longer you can stay in the fight. Level. Now, your level is a measure of how powerful you are, from level 1 to 10. A new character starts at level 1. Your profession is what you do for a living. In game mechanics, it also determines how much wealth you have. Proficiencies are things your character is particularly good with. The three types are equipment, saving throw, and skills. If you are proficient with something, you will have a proficiency bonus when using it. A proficiency bonus is a bonus based on your level to the things you are proficient with. Now, your PV is your penetration value for your weapon. Your AV is your armor value. Now, PV and AV will be explained more later. A reaction is an activity triggered by another effect, like diving for cover from an explosion. A round is the time frame of combat. Every combatant gets a turn during a round. Saving throws, or saves, are a roll to avoid danger. Proficiency with a save gives you a proficiency bonus to that save. Skills are areas of knowledge used for everyday challenges. A proficiency with a skill gives you a proficiency bonus with the ability check using that skill. And lastly, a turn is your time to act during a round.